So, I wanted to do a little video on something I find interesting and that I collect, such as just like little silver coins and how, I don't know, stats and stuff like that. Because I don't know, I find it interesting. And I find it weird, kind of too, that more people don't own some silver or anything, or my friends all thought it was crazy and why would you want to do that when I brought it up to them years and years ago. This one is the first little piece that I ever bought, and probably can't see it on the camera, but it's 2015, and I don't know, most people seem to think it was really dumb to want to buy little silver coins. But my point of view was that, I don't know, you don't meet a bunch of poor people with silver. That over the long term, it might be a good thing to hold on to, like generations down the road, but maybe it's not, maybe it's dumb. I don't know, we'll see. But just seeing more stats about it, and of course it's getting talked about a little bit more with all the inflation and stuff. For one, when I bought it, my dad in particular, I remember him just saying that he used to find silver coins like nailed to telephone poles and such whenever he was younger, back in the like 70s or something like that, late 70s. I don't know. Then again, you look at the price of silver in the 90s and it was something like $2 an ounce or something like that. So I mean, it was pretty cheap. But anyhow, going on to some more stats, like right now, it'll cost you about $27, $28 to get a little 1 ounce coin. This one I bought like 5 or 6 years ago. I think it cost me like $17 or something like that. So the price has gone up, nowhere near what it did whenever some dude tried to buy like all the silver in the world, buy them silver mines and shut them down, and drove the price up to like 40 or something like that dollars an ounce, which for inflation would be like 120 or something crazy like that. But anyhow, more on it from what I've seen just on the stats, which who knows, these could be wrong, maybe. Just stuff I found on Google. About 550,000 metric tons are in reserve right now, and that would equate to, if you're going to spread it out between the US, Canada, Europe, Australia, and Japan, it'd be a little bit under 14 ounces a person. So that's not really that much. Like, these things are less than $30 right now. So it's something like $450 a person would get you your like fair share of silver if it was all spread out amongst the people. I mean, sure, that's including children and stuff like that in that like 1.25 billion people. But oops, if you kind of went a little more realistic though, and you included the like 40 million people in India that have a net worth of over $100,000, as well as the 113 million people in China that have a net worth of over $100,000, and you throw them into the mix and take out that many people out of the, Europe and Japan and Australia estimate, I think now you're kind of getting closer to see how much like a $450 investment isn't that insane that could just deplete the world's silver. And that's in reserves. That's not, I don't know if that's necessarily saying that's for sale. Like, that would need to be processed too. Like, it would dry up, and it's roughly a third of all the silver, according to these numbers, that has been mined. And I would kind of like to look at more of like coin production of like US silver coins and UK and other places, India and Japan, that have released like coin mintages, and how much of those were silver, how much has been minted in there. I mean, that doesn't also account for like if they took coins out of circulation to then remint new ones. But I think that would give a good way to kind of estimate how much silver has been mined in the world, and look at all the different countries and what they've minted in coins to kind of give a, I think that would give a pretty good perspective too. But yeah, I don't see the harm in, instead of going stocks 100%, stocks, bonds, equities kind of stuff, like, why not get a little bit of like physical silver that you can hold and play with? And it's kind of neat. I can't do the little coin flippy thing, but I don't know, it's fun to hold on to, and it's neat to look at. And especially like the Canadian Maple Leafs and the Britannias and all that other government silver. They look cool. I like them. And there's a whole bunch of other different little things to buy and play with, and it's, I don't know, something to get that dopamine hit of shopping and buying something that should hold value long term, I would hope, and it's a lot cheaper than gold. And I don't know, something about buying like a little tenth of an ounce of gold for like, I don't even know what it is right now, $150, $200. That just doesn't sit right with me, just having a tiny little coin for that much money with no historical value or anything like that, when I can just spend like $30 and have something in my hand, which this one was like, I don't know, like I said before, like $17, $18, something like that back then, and it wasn't even that long ago. I think in 2020, like, silver started going down to like at 16, I think even 15.50 an ounce, but like nobody was selling the coins for that too, which is kind of suspicious. The coins were still going like $25, or I would have bought some more. But it's kind of also the difference between spot price and like what you can actually get, which is interesting. I know that there's silver stock on the stock market, of where you're buying stock in silver, paper silver as they call it, and paper gold. But I don't know, I'm a little suspicious of all that. Just kind of the whole, if you don't hold it, you don't own it kind of thing. I just slightly don't believe 100% of that is there that they say it is, because of there was a news story not too long ago about like nickel, like something like that, like the JP Morgan Bank thought it had like $2 million worth of nickel, and it turned out it was rocks or something like that, which that's just wild to me that nobody bothered to check when they took shipment of it. So who knows? Who knows how much is actually out there until like it starts getting bought up and getting put in the hands of more and more collectors, and you test it and make sure like, hey, this is actually silver. Because I'm sure there's fraud and counterfeit and stuff like that, just as much as there's probably counterfeiting in paper silver just by saying you have a lot more than you actually physically do and selling those stock, because I don't know who checks. I'm sure probably somebody does, I guess. I don't know. Alright. Maybe. Maybe not. Screw that, though. Bloop.